Steve, welcome back to England. You've flown all the way in from Australia for this camp. It's obviously very important to you.
Oh, very. A very important part of our programme. I think one of the biggest things was the feedback from the players. When we prepared, going into the World Cup for the last 2, 3, 4 years was the benefits of the England camps. The get-togethers, the trust, the friendships that the players got with each other, and it broke a lot of barriers down. In the past we've had a few issues there, in terms of, club versus sort of country. We've strove very hard to drive a two-team mentality, and it's important that we have England camps certainly moving forward to keep the continuity of that going.
Important for you as well, I guess, to have face-to-face dialogue with not only the players who you know and have worked with before, but a number of new players you've called into the squad.
Yeah, it is. I've got a great deal of trust in the group of players that we had in the World Cup. That core of the group is a very strong group. Performs and plays well to a high standard and understands what the England setup is all about now. And a lot of these young players who have come in, they've had some experience with England Knights. Joe Burgess has been with England under 18, so they've had some experience of it. But it's really good to see them add some renewed vigour to the group, put some pressure on some of the players, and fully embrace themselves in some of the things that we try to teach at these England camps.
Interesting that the new players in the squad, there's sort of three different strands almost. There's young players, there's players perhaps like Craig Hubie, who's already had a testimonial, but it's his first real opportunity, and then a player like Kyler Moore, who has already previously played for Ireland, but obviously he's English born and bred, and he's got a chance to represent his country based on some great form for St Helens. You've got a real good bunch of new players this time, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. And I'll add a fourth to that. Someone like Michael Shenton, who's been here in the past, but has not been here for a couple of years, and has managed to get himself back in the group with his great form at Castleford. So, yeah, it's an interesting mix. Like I said, the core of our group is very strong, but to see the influx of some of these players from different backgrounds goes to show that it's the opportunity is there for most people. And look, integrating them into what England is all about is probably the most important part of this camp. We don't have a game to get ready for, so there's no pressure involved in that. It'll be great to get on the field and do a little bit of training as a group, but like I say, it's more about them understanding what we are as a group moving forward.
It's not happening, so it's a hypothetical question, I realise, but would you have rather had a game this time round?
I think it's always good to play England fixtures. We love getting on the field, we love playing games, love wearing that shirt, and I think it's important for our sport that we have strong international fixtures. But look, the length of the World Cup last season, the congested Super League calendar, to try and load another game onto the players, I think would have been detrimental to their performances and probably not what the players needed. So I'm happy for this year for there not to be a fixture. I'd love there to be a mid-season fixture moving forward again. But yeah, for right now, I think for this camp, when you see the players and the number of games they've already played and the short off-seasons that they've had, the camp is just about right for this year.
When we've seen players go to the NRL, the likes of Gareth Ellis and Sam Burgess, when they've come back into the England environment, they've brought things they've learnt from the NRL with them. You're now coaching over there. What are you bringing back, Steve, from Australia to this England camp?
Oh, look, not specifically to this camp, but I think moving forward towards the competition at the end of the year, the experience that I'm going to get coaching with and coaching against some of our opposition. Certainly there's some players who are at the Roosters who will be facing for Samoa and Australia and New Zealand at the end of the year. Certainly all the opposition that we're playing for the Sydney Roosters has players who will be involved in that Four Nations as well. So I think the inside knowledge and the information that I'll be able to give out to the players on who we're playing against, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what they're really all about. I think it's going to be probably the biggest asset.
Is this the ultimate test?
I think the World Cup, with it being on home soil, such a huge event and a great event for everybody involved, was big, and that would have, it would have been really nice to see what, if we got to that final, just how far we would have gone with that. But to win a tournament on Southern Hemisphere is probably the most difficult thing to do. So I think the challenge that we faced this year, with a shortened programme, a shortened preparation going into it compared to the World Cup, gives us some challenges, but some challenges that I think we can really look forward to, and ones that won't catch us by surprise. We know what the challenge is in front, and we need to get ready for that.
Finally, Steve, just map out England's journey to the Four Nations from now.
Yeah, look, we'll finish this camp. We'll have a good couple of days here, and then the players will go off. They'll play Super League, they'll play Challenge Cup, and pretty hectic fixture list for themselves. We'll get back together in August. This group will come back together, and they'll have some instructions from this camp as to what's going to happen at the end of the year, but we will give them some real clarity at that meeting in August about what the end of the season will look like. We'll go into a fallout period where the players who don't make the playoffs will continue to train, and then look, we'll pick the squad, and grand final. Our grand final is a week after the Australian grand final. We're going to have to fly out pretty much straight after that grand final, as soon as we feasibly can, post the grand final, and we'll land in Australia, and we'll pretty soon be getting ready for that game one, which is Samoa in Brisbane, and a great sporting occasion for everybody involved.